is the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. By the big noise, Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy.
Brad, you know what I've realized? If I lean back, I don't wind up with that big Peyton Manning dome in everybody's screen. Look, if I come back here, if I get closer, I got Vaughn behind me here.
Yes, you
but
do.
if I lean back, my head is not nearly as space consuming.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. So do your best Fat Joe impersonation, except without the giant melon of one of the Mannings. I think that's an excellent call. That's Nathaniel Lundy. He's obviously in a stellar mood because we got opening night.
This is a
the
really
NFL.
large cup of coffee, okay? I've had a lot of caffeine this morning because, Brad, football's back.
Yes, it is, which means it's time for us to lose all kinds of bank and also time for us to hop aboard the Honk Honk Plus bus as we normally do at the top of every single episode of the Fade 5. And let's jump to the Thursday night affair. Again, the requirement here, if you're riding on the Plus bus, got to be plus 100 odds or greater. And my goodness, do you have a delicious random ass prop to drop? And what is it?
Let's go big, Brad. Why? Because it's the kickoff of the season. Why not? If we're going to lose all of our money, let's lose it on night one and then have to click that little deposit button. No, let's go big here because I could see this happening. And so when the plus 600 jumped out at me, I thought, you know what? Why not go ahead and take a shot on this? And this is the race to. And there's a number of ways you can do this when you're playing games. If you guys have not made these bets before, some of them are race twos when it comes to player props. Sometimes it is the race to 10 points or 20 points or whatever. But this one specifically for receiving yards, not A.J. Brown, not C.D. Lamb, not Devonta Smith. How about we go Pickens? Yeah. How about we pick some wildflowers? George Pickens at plus 600. Look, we know that he can get the big targets. We know he can get the yards. Oh, hint, what's coming up in the pod. But you could see this happening. I'm not telling you to drop the 401k on this, okay? I'm not even telling you it's got to be a full unit bet. You can go Funston if you want. You can go shorter. You can do quarter unit. You can do half unit bet or something like this. But, Brad, I could see this happening, and I know you're going to be talking about Mr. Pickens a little later in the pod and may be able to give us another reason to be paying attention to the wideout in his new digs in Dallas.
This is a downright delicious prop at plus 600. So I think that is an excellent call. And stay tuned for additional George Pickens action and maybe make you a few pennies here on the Fade 5 podcast. My plus not nearly as juicy as Lundy's, but at plus 110, I'll roll the little baby seduced by the juice shoulders on C.D. Lamb. I'm going to go the alt market. I say grab 7 or more passes. Plus 110 available right now at DraftKings Sportsbook. 7 games in his career against Fly, Eagles Fly. Not extraordinary numbers by any stretch. 5 receptions per game is the average. 69.4, somewhat nice. Yards per game and a pair of touchdowns. He did this 8 times last season. And, of course, a lot of that was with Dak Prescott on the sidelines and street clothes as he was mending from that gruesome hamstring tear. You look at Lamb last year, 10.1 targets per game. May not be as high in that department this year with George Pickens now on the field. He only had an 86.9 passer rating when targeted. Again, blame Cooper Rush and the horrible quarterbacks that were behind one Dak Prescott. But got a lot of Quinyon Mitchell in this game. Mitchell only gave up a 93.8 passer rating, 59.2% catch rate when he's in the slot. Even more of Cooper DeJean, the former Iowa Hawkeye, was top 10 in pass coverage grade last season. So again, the matchup ain't that great, but I fully anticipate Dallas to play from behind in this game. In garbage time, all counts the same. C.D. Lamb, 7 or more catches, plus 110 at DraftKings is what I'm rolling with on the plus buzz. All right, it's time to get after it with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, numero cinco here on the countdown. Let's flex those Saquads, and hopefully he's going to do it straight away in this game. Yes, this is a real prop, and yes, it is indeed spectacular. Saquon Barkley, 20 or more rush yards in the first quarter tonight in the opener at a minus 120 juice there at DraftKings. Again, not the most delightful juice on the planet, but I am chasing and trying to grab a winner straight out of the gate. I think this one's going to come through. You look at what he did in first quarter play last season. He averaged a robust of 5.5 yards per carry and 24.6 rush yards per game. So if he hits his average from a season ago in the opening frame, we're going to cash with relative ease. Remember last time he faced the boys, 31 carries for 167 yards. I think he had over 30 yards in the first quarter in that last matchup last season. Dallas was number 31 in rush EPA defense, according to Pro Football Focus, according to the RBSM stats that are out there in terms of the EPA data that they're tracking. Pro Football Focus also preseason ranks this defensive line is a bottom 15 unit, obviously losing Micah Parsons via trade to the Green Bay Packers. So the fact that Saquon was efficient in yards after contact per attempt, he was also top 10 in missed tackles for Saquon's books it out of the box, baby. I think he gets at least 20 rush yards tonight in the opener in the first quarter at a minus 120 at DraftKings. Good sir. Fade or follow?
I will follow on this one because I do think he is going to get the rock to the belly early in the first 15 minutes of this contest. I think they will continue to establish him. Him for an anytime touchdown, one of my favorite things for this evening. And DraftKings, thank you so much for your happy hour boost that they had yesterday. Brad, their happy hour boost, they took Saquon from a minus 190 to even money for an anytime touchdown yesterday. And I just happened to be DGen enough that I logged into my DK account right as they were offering that happy hour boost yesterday afternoon. So of course I snagged that, because if you're going to get me Saquon to cross the end zone at even money, we're not seeing those numbers again this season. Take the 20 plus in the first quarter.
Did somebody say happy hour? It is, after all, a hashtag Tequila Thursday.
Number 4.
All right, numero cuatro here on the Fade 5 countdown. You want to talk about a DGen bet? This is it. I wrote about this in The Athletic, in the column that I already posted earlier today. The number is moved. I'm going to give you where I grabbed it at about 48 hours ago. Jahan Dotson. I took the over on just 5.5 receiving yards at a minus 110 at BetMGM. Updated line, it's jumped 2 yards to 7.5, and I still ain't scared. I think there's a really good shot. He's got to have at least 10 receiving yards. I know he's the third fiddle, maybe even the fourth guy really in this passing offense, but you're going to see a lot of action in 3 wide receiver sets. More comfortable at this juncture on the calendar than he was last season, because remember, he had just come over via trade from the Washington Commanders. And you look at Dotson, he was utilized pretty heavily in terms of route running. Over his last 8 games, he averaged 23.4 routes per contest, and he went over this prop a dozen times, including once against the boys. That includes the playoffs last season for the Eagles. Likely to see a lot of Trevon Diggs in coverage. Diggs has got a banged up knee, so not exactly operating at 100% already. And he was number 82 in pass coverage grade last year, according to Pro Football Focus. Dallas projected by Pro Football Focus to have the second worst secondary in the NFL. So all I need is one stinking grab, and I think we're going to cash on the over 5.5 receiving yards, or the current line on the over 7.5 receiving yards, both at minus 110 juice at BetMGM. Lundy, fade or follow?
The line movement doesn't scare me on this one. I think you're looking at probably pushing the 10-yard mark. I'd be okay with that. So I know that this seems like, we see a lot of these low numbers. So it's like you and I when it's NBA season and we're doing the one and done, right? We just need somebody to have a 3-pointer. Same kind of idea here. But I do think you look at Dotson a couple of times. I think even if it jumped from 5.5 to 7.5, I'm not scared by that. Go ahead and keep playing it. Do it at the minus 110. I think, he's not going to explode for 110 yards, but can he get close to 10? Yes.
Hey, be a DJ like us and bet on Dotson.
Number 3.
Numero Trays here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's pick some low-hanging fruit, and I believe this is a watermelon on a twig. That's how low-hanging it indeed is. And I agree with Lundy's point of view. I mean, if you're looking for some downright sexy juice, ooh, baby, it tickles. I love his call on Pickens in the race to 40 receiving yards at 6-1. Folks, that could happen on one catch. And I believe one of those catches is going to be a chunk game. That's why I'm taking the over on Numero Trace here on the countdown on Pickens. 22.5 yards for his longest reception at a minus 110 juice there at BetMGM. And you look at Pickens, he did this a lucky number 13 times last season in a worse offensive environment, in my opinion, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Russell Wilson throws a damn good Mune Bowl, and we know that, and the adjustment skills of George Pickens are Cirque du Soleil performer-like. He's got that Gumby bend and all those contortions, some of the best ball tracking skills on the known planet. And you look at Pickens, 15.3 yards per catch last year is what he averaged. That was top 15. He was top 15 in total air yards as well. Number 4 in total deep ball targets in a more conservative offensive scheme. Dallas is going to have to air it out early and often if they're going to keep pace with Philadelphia. If they're going to deal with a deficit in this game, which I wholeheartedly believe will come true, he could clean up in really garbage time, come out smelling like a rose in those situations. Got to see a lot of the former Giant, Adoree Jackson, in coverage. He was just a modest number 52 in pass coverage grade last season, according to PFF. And we know Dak has an absolute howitzer down the field. Prior to injury, he was number 10 last season in deep ball completion percentage. So these two have looked great throughout training camp. Of course, they didn't see him in the preseason, but I think George Pickens will catch a long bomb or possibly 3 in this contest. Give me him over 22.5 yards on the longest catch at a minus 110 at BetMGM. Lundy, I already know your answer, but I ask, fade or follow?
Yeah, we got look, for me to be able to hit my bet, if it's going to be the race to 40, then we need this to happen early in the contest, right? So maybe you and I can both find a way to cash before we even get to halftime. That would be my hope with this one. That way, we're holding on to some of our dollars, and we're not pressing that deposit button.
But you know what you can do? Press the button on your mouse or on your keyboard, and you go where? To the gamingjuice.com, you jackwagons. It's a free site as it stands right now, cranking out all kinds of content straight from this bird's brain. We're talking fantasy football ranks for week 1. They are live. We're talking the Flames at quarterback and running back. They are also live. Wide receiver, tight end should post later today, if not tomorrow. My top props piece will also be out on the site either tomorrow or on Saturday. Tons of content, including Lundy's always free, always transparent, and always public spreadsheet. My spreadsheet picks are there as well. You can ask me a question free of charge, and I'll get back to you. I always try to answer those within 24 hours. And we got the college football forecast week 2. Matt Fortuna, Ben Wittenstein, Nate Jacobson. They had a hot week 1. Hopefully it's got to roll over into week 2. You get all of it, folks, on a splashy and aesthetically pleasing site built there at Boom Press. That's the gamingjuice.com. Click, converse, and cash, ... maybe.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's work in some more plus money on the board. Yes, go Hawk Harrelson on you. A little same game parlay, simple 2-legger. Again, we don't need 7, 8, 9, 10 legs. I don't care about the attention that I'm trying to receive on social media with the once in a lifetime cash I may have on one of those long-legged parlays. I'm looking to build bankroll, and this is a great way to do it on these simple 2 to 3 leg builds, and this is one of them. On that SGP, Dak Prescott, give me the over 1.5 rush attempts Yeah, it's a real line, folks, and it's quite titillating, to say the least. And give me Philadelphia on the old spread. I'm going to take it down from 8.5 to 2.5. So they could sneak by with the win and win just by a field goal boot off the leg of Jake Elliott, and we still cash on that one. So on that simple two-legger, plus 122 available there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Dak Prescott, before the hamstring tear, went over on 1.5 rush attempts in 4 of a contest. A guy in his 12 career games against the Philadelphia Eagles has averaged 3.8 rush attempts per game. Now, knee downs do count. I don't think those are going to come into play unless somehow, some way, maybe he takes a knee at the end of the first half, and maybe Dallas improbably and possibly goes into halftime, content with either the deficit that they're suffering from, or maybe they're up by a slim margin. Who the hell knows? It's the opening act of the NFL season. Lundy's like, no, that's not going to happen. But all we do need are a couple of scrambles. We know this is an aggressive, assertive pass rush under Vic Fangio. They're going to come after you, bring the kitchen sink, and really ratchet up the heat. So I think Dak will flush out, call his own number at least a couple of times, and that comes home. Our friends at Betalytics actually like the Cowboys plus 8.5. Rachel Dory, or also known as Rachel Kryshak, congratulations on your recent marriage. She's got this at minus 7.6 on the spread. So getting well with the range outcomes for Philadelphia to win and cover that 2.5. So put those hands together. Numero dos on the countdown. Same gamer, Dak Prescott over 1.5 rush attempts, and Philadelphia minus 2.5 on the alt line. You put those hands together, plus 122 at DraftKings. Lundy, fair to follow.
I'm concerned about your rush attempts part of it, Brad. Only because if Dak starts running, shit hit the fan. Okay, it's not like they're doing designed runs for this guy. Okay,
no,
it probably means something bad has happened, or he's got to use the little boy's room and he's just running into the tunnel, a la Lamar Jackson. So if something like that were to happen, I'm a little bit concerned. I will tell you, I don't mind these really simple SGPs, but this one I will pass on.
Lundy, how dare you have faith in Dak? And please, my God, keep all of your appendages attached.
Number 1.
Numero uno on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's go back to another prop on the Dak attack. Again, I feel, and I'm kind of congruent with Lundy and his overall feelings as well, that Dallas will be playing from behind in this game. And I think that's going to be their formula for much of the year, trying to dig out from massive deficits, because that defense, folks, it's going to royally suck, especially without Micah Parsons in uniform with them any longer. So as a result, I think Prescott gonna have to warm up that arm, baby. He's gonna get it working and lathered up. I say he goes for at least 38 pass attempts, and you can bet on that alt market right now in DraftKings, and you can secure plus money on that particular prop, which I think is entirely doable. The Eagles, again, are going to have a top 10 secondaries, no question about it. But it's not yardage. It's not touchdowns. We're just looking for chucks. That is it. I look at last year, he averaged 35.8 chucks per game, and a player that went over this prop once, twice, 3 times, 4 times in a contest. And I think it's going to be, more of the same for him. As a result. So I already mentioned the inefficiencies likely of the Dallas defense, especially on the back end. They're going to be one of the worst and friendliest secondaries in the league. So you pull it all together, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance. I think Dak Prescott, again, is going to be working that arm early and often. Could be like vintage Nolan Ryan. This could be like a 200-pitch game. So give me him for 38 pass attempts or more. He gets there, plus 110 at DraftKings. My top play in the opener of the 2025 NFL season. Lundy, Vader follow.
Brad, do you understand that the entire state of Texas is now headed to your house with torches and pitchforks because you just compared Dak Prescott to the great Nolan Ryan?
I did. There's a Texas link. Why not?
Brad, you're nuts. Oh my goodness. I fear for your safety now, due to the great state of Texas coming after you for making that
Robin
comparison.
Ventura,
Brad,
I'm going to be in the headlock.
yeah, Brad, you can make a lot of comparisons with Dak Prescott. Some of them are not all that great, but don't you dare disparage Mr. Ryan like that, because I'm pretty sure right now he could still strike out like Aaron Judge. I mean, legit. Just put it right past him. I'm pretty sure he could still do it. This is a good plus odds number. They're playing from behind. This is one that you may see in the garbage time, a la bets that we have done over the years with guys like Trevor Lawrence, things like that. Sometimes you just got to play the deficit game. This defense is going to be absolutely putrid without Micah Parsons. So yeah, they're in deep trouble. I could see him hitting the 38. So yes, I will follow on this one. We will kumbaya on the first true NFL edition of the Fade 5 in 2025. But you keep Nolan Ryan's name out your mouth. Don't you be doing that, okay? Because the state of Texas is going to go Will Smith on your ass.
Oh, what's that I hear? Toot, toot, all aboard the Prescott Express. See what I did there?
Look what you did.
More disparaging remarks about the legend that is Nolan Ryan. Hey, look, I like Dak Prescott quite a bit.
You're killing me,
he's going to
Smalls.
channel him.
You're killing me. You're killing me.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Knock it off. Knock it off.
You know what that means? I got to try to cleanse the palate, and bonus time. We're looking at some additional wagers that have caught my eye or Lundy's eye, maybe in relation to Thursday Night Football or elsewhere. And I'll hold off on giving her the Team Huevos parlay play because I got to give the floor to my partner, Nathaniel Lundy, who's going to serve me up and our audience, hopefully, with a few winners. What you got?
Let me go with two different SGPs for tonight for you. The first one, relatively simple. Let's go with Philadelphia on the money line. Let's take Saquon to have at least 70 yards rushing, and let's take Saquon for an anytime touchdown. Saquon touchdown, Saquon 70 or more, Philly on the money line. That is plus 110 over at DraftKings. We also have not talked about either of the tight ends on this team, so why not build an all tight end all the time type of same game parlay as well. Give me Dallas Goedert to have 25 or more yards. Give me Jake Ferguson to have 15 or more yards, and then the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles on the money line. If all three of those legs hit plus 110 as well over at DraftKings. Again, simple, but what do we want to do at the beginning of the season? Not have the bankroll disappear and hopefully build it up so that by the time we get through today's game, by the time we get through tonight down in Brazil, we have some cash to be able to lose on the weekend with our college games and the full slate of NFL Sunday. So again, the second one, all tight ends all the time. Dallas Goedert, 25 yards. Jake Ferguson, 15 yards. Philadelphia on the money line, that one as well, plus 110. So both of my SGPs are plus 110. You can find them. If you missed anything, we'll put them up on the spreadsheet for you. To the baseball diamond we go, because I know Brad has abandoned baseball, at least until we get to the playoffs. But I got a couple of picks for you. First and foremost, if you're listening to the podcast early enough, let's get to the afternoon contest that we have between the Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm dialing in on William Contreras, the catcher for the Brew Crew. Again, this is a 4 o'clock Eastern time first pitch. So if you're consuming the podcast early enough, you can jump on this one. Contreras is going up against Kyle Hendricks of the Angels. Lifetime, 14 of 34. Excuse me, that's a number we're going to talk about here in a second. Not 14 of 34. 9 of 22. There we go.
Okay.
9 of 22, which means he's 409 lifetime against Ranger Suarez. That's who he is facing off with. It is the Brewers and the Phillies. So Suarez on the bump. Sorry, I've got another one coming for you, and my brain is scrambled. I just clearly have not had enough coffee. Contreras hitting 409 lifetime and 864 on the slugging percentage lifetime against Ranger Suarez. So I'm going to take William Contreras over on the 1.5 total bags. That is plus 130. Again, put that one in this morning over at DK. And then a same game parlay, in case you're getting this podcast a little bit later in the day, we're going to take Kansas City at home against the Angels. And we're going to look at second baseman Adam Frazier for Kansas City. Same kind of idea here. 412 lifetime. He's the one that is 14 for 34. 412 lifetime against Kyle Hendricks of the Angels. So all I need Frazier to do is a hit. Give me Frazier for a hit and give me the Royals on the money line. Those two things, Kansas City's at home. Frazier for a hit plus 118 is how that one will play over at DraftKings. So just a simple baseball same game parlay for you. And then again, William Contreras with just a great, like I said, slugging percentage, a plus 400 lifetime average against Suarez. And I really like him on the total bags at plus 130. Let's get ready for some Thursday night football. I yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois.
Oh, thank you, good sir. Let's go and get after with a Team Huevos parlay play of Thursday night football in this opening act of the NFL season. Leg numero uno. Give me it hurts so good. Come on, Jalen, make it hurt so good. I just need one touchdown, a little tush push in the end zone, por favor. Give me Dak Prescott, leg numero dos, 200-plus pass yards, and leg numero tres. Oh, familiar name here on the podcast, George Pickens, and all I need is 25 freaking receiving yards. I'll give you the juice. Let me give you the explanation first behind each one of these legs. Hurts, in his only game against the Cowboys last season, scored not once but twice. I remember he had 14 rushing touchdowns last season. He led the NFL with 3.1 red zone rush attempts per game. And I think it's going to be more of the same. I think he will find a way to fall forward into the end zone. Again, the guy, he squats not just one beer keg, completely full, the entire 18-wheeler stacked with beer kegs in the gym. So with a tush push alive and still very well in the NFL, he will cross the chalk at least once. Dak Prescott, 200-plus passing yards. This could be a 40-plus attempt kind of game. Again, I'm taking the over on 38 attempts and 12 career contests against Philadelphia. Dak is averaging 254.6 pass yards per game. I understand Philadelphia is probably got a top 10 secondary, but Dak will likely pay from behind. He may hit this like midway through the third quarter, in my estimation. And the last one, George Pickens, 25 or more receiving yards. I don't need to give you any reasons. I've already given it to you. One catch, he could likely get this. And again, I'm taking the over on 22.5 yards on the longest catch. So I think he will easily get there, and it could happen straight away as Dallas may come storming out of the gate to try to emphasize, hey, we aren't going to get pushed over by the Philadelphia Eagles. I have no idea where that accent came from, but regardless, the Team Huevos parlay play. Jalen Hurts, touchdown. Dak Prescott, 200-plus pass yards. George Pickens, 25-plus receiving yards. A cool plus 130 built at DraftKings Sportsbook. Elsewhere in bonus time. Let's get a couple of more bets on the board in this Thursday night football matchup. Kickers are people too. And I like betting on them on occasion, especially with the juices low and attractive. And Jake Elliott on kicking points, it's just 7.5 on the over. It's a minus 105. I think he's going to achieve that. He did it 10 times last season in the regular season. He had 10 kicking points at his matchup against the Cowboys last year in week 10, had a 77.8% field goal rate, and he was money in the bank within that 30 to 39 yard range. Knocked 10 of 11 kicks through the uprights last year. So I think a couple of field goals, maybe a couple extra points, and bam, right there. I'm no math major, but I think that's going to carry the one. It's eight. That's over the 7.5. So I love this, especially at a minus 105 juice. And then a no context parlay. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of background on it. I'm just going to throw out there for shits and giggles. Leg numero uno, CeeDee Lamb, 5 or more catches. That could happen in the first half, folks. He's going to get a ton of targets in this game. And then I did this religiously during college basketball season last year, Lundy. I'm going to apply the same logic to the NFL. It could burn me in a not so gleeful way, but I'm going to play it anyway. Give me Philadelphia on the money line, and I'm going to live in the middle. Cue the Jimmy Eat World there in the background. Dallas plus 20.5. So what does that mean? The Eagles can win by 1 to 20 points, and I cover both of those legs. So you take CeeDee Lamb, 5+ catches, Philadelphia money line, and the Cowboys plus 20.5. It's plus 102. It confuses the algorithm, and you see the smoke bellowing out of the computer's brain.
Brad,
I built that there at DraftKings.
You're not smart enough to confuse the algorithm. Would you please stop?
I'm not.
No, you're not. Calm down. You're not going to scare anybody with their algorithm. Okay? You're not. You don't. I mean, no. You're not confusing anybody, Brad. I mean, you're confusing me, but beyond that, you're not confusing. You're not confusing anything. Hey, everybody get out there and have some fun tonight. It's nice to have football back. And Brad and I are back tomorrow, too, because there's more football.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to be touching on the Friday night game down in Brazil between Kansas City and the L.A. Chargers. We'll have bets in that game. We'll have bets on the entire Week 1 slated with the exception of Monday night as well, because we'll be back on Monday for Bear Down. Chicago Bears taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I can't wait for that one. Hopefully the offense is going to be somewhat repaired because they were discombobulated last year. But I'm out of breath, and we are out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. So do us a favor, please, and drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, fade or follow us on the X or the Twitter. Follow Lundy at Nate Lundy. Check me out there at Noisy Huevos. You want more of this idiot's voice? Well, listen to me on BetMGM tonight from 7-11 p.m. Eastern time across the iHeart and also Odyssey stations. You can stream the show for free on thegamingjuice.com. Check out all of Lundy's fantastic work on Mile High Sports as well, streaming shows every single day on the old YouTube, where hopefully you're watching us right now on the Fade 5 podcast. So for the terrific, the handsome, the outstanding Nathaniel Lundy, I'm Brad Evans. Until next time, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you. Catch some bombs, George Pickens.